go. You'll just have to click that. Got it. And let's start off with talking about what you've learned about yourself during this journey. What have you discovered about yourself? Or, yeah, I think that's the question I want to ask. What have you discovered about yourself during this journey? Because doing hard things, especially when we're not accustomed to it, we discover things about ourselves if we slow down enough to process it. So who'd like to go first? Who's bold enough to share their level of awareness? I could call on names too. Who wants to go first? Hey, Robert, give me a thumbs up if you can hear us. Oh, I can hear me.
I can go first.
Okay.
Okay, so when we had our activity on Saturday, I mean, when you actually are begin saying it or going through the scenario, oh, I started perspiring.
Yeah. And what did you discover about yourself?
uh, it what I discovered, I can do it.
Oh, good. Yeah. It's just a matter of practice. This is something everybody, if they want to get good at it, just has to practice it on a regular basis. It's
Right.
not going to happen automatically, but you could see that you can actually do it.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for being super honest with everybody, because we all have limiting beliefs about ourselves somewhere in some area of our life. And and to some degree or another, right? So this is a really great opportunity to be honest with yourself, and you're setting the pace for everybody else. So thank you for sharing that. What we're doing right now, guys, is we are sharing what we learned about ourselves during this journey, doing something we're not accustomed to doing, learning a new pattern or system or method. Who wants to go next? Robert was just very brave enough to share his awareness. Who's next? What did you learn? Yes, Signy, thanks.
Okay. So it's not so much what I learned about myself, because all my career has been in selling. So I always kind of, I understand about the attractiveness, in that chapter. I also know when to create rapport, and I kind of, that's something I'm very familiar with. So, but identifying what rewards and reciprocity is like, I really had to study, figure that out. And so that helped me learn that. But as far as the rapport building and the going into a deeper relationship, that I'm really familiar with. So so those things I didn't have to learn too much.
Yeah, and that is, like, I think I've mentioned before, that is a very common mistake. People assume that reciprocity, and in its broader application, you can use it as rewards. But what Cialdini talks about specifically are what are the activators and the amplifiers. What kicks it up so that there's effectiveness to it? Because we could give lots of rewards, and it's really just a trade-off that people are going to get something in return, as opposed to a liking and leaning in your way because you really thought about them first, right? Yeah. So that's great. Okay. Who else? What did you learn about yourself in this journey?
Like learning anything new is very uncomfortable. I still feel uncomfortable, but it's that trust factor that because of Cialdini, he did all this research, that it works if you put it into practice. So you got to practice and to learn it, and to be consistent, and if others can do it, you can do it too. But it is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of other people to encourage, for each other, to support each other. So that's why this group is really good, so we can encourage each other to continue on with what we've learned.
Yeah, and I want to kind of just throw it out there that it's not hard. It's just needing intentionality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have hard time. I'm sorry.
But the more we practice, the better we're going to get. I mean, if you think about it, if we were to elongate this time and we just kept practicing, it's just going to start to be so much more familiar. And so like now I do actually have a different way of delivery because of, you know, all the different things that I've learned. And it's just become a natural thing for me. It's not something I'm necessarily having to force out. And so so it's going to get easier and easier for sure. All right, somebody else, what are you learning about yourself in the journey? Go ahead, unmute.
I enjoyed doing the group activities. I think I realized how much not only fun, but I think it's really good learning to be challenged as a group. Oftentimes, you know, when you preparing for something like I am actually, and it's also preparing me for tomorrow. I'll be speaking in front of 200 people tomorrow, so it helped me get ready for that too.
Yeah.
But I much rather tomorrow be where I could have all of you there. And we do it as a group, and but no, it was great, and I realized how much I miss that the in-person. You know, we just haven't had as much opportunity in these last 3 years, and I think we just need to do that more. It's really powerful.
Yeah, it was really awesome to be all together and just to have some good times with that. And that's the plan for the next 10 weeks, is to do at least 3 more of those, so that people get really familiar. And, you know, in learning how to stack the 7 principles. I mean, that's going to be a real key that, you know, we can really work on this. And the other thing is that just to consider that what you get when you go through the next 10 weeks is you actually get a practitioner certification from the Cialdini Institute. And so that's a little bit different from just, you know, what we're talking about. It's this and it's going to be easier, not as much homework because it'll be all virtual. And I'm getting a little bit on the side, sorry, but I just think the power of what you're talking about, Tom, of being together and practicing that and really getting, you know, familiar with it is kind of an understatement for sure, especially when we all want to get good at being ethical influencers. All right, one more person. What did you learn about yourself? I got Sean or Carol or Debbie, Mary Lou. I'm going to leave Marcia because she just got sick and missed the Saturday and stuff. So she's off the hook. Okay. Who's next of the people that I just mentioned? The 4 of you. Who wants to share?
I just talked to some people who applied for jobs at Blaisdell. And one of them was because I used your principles. And last year I had passed out applications and tried to recruit, but I didn't use the principles and nobody applied. And so this time somebody applied. We had
great.
I was really charged up.
Nice.
I feel so good. I said, you know, the big, small, and then I used urgency, you know, and yeah, it was good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really great, Mary Lou. And you're always just reaching out to people, so it's great to have that kind of a reward. What do you plan to be implementing on a regular basis, and how? What in what you've learned in the 5 weeks do you want? Now, listen, just between the 2 principles, there were a lot of little components in it, right? So maybe it's an amplifier, maybe it's something else. So what do you plan to be implementing on a regular basis, and how? Carol, I saw you unmute.
I muted by mistake, but I'll share.
Tag, you're it.
I've really found, and I'm trying to implement the principle of reciprocity. And I think it's to really do something from your heart and from sincerity without expecting anything in return. And I think, you know, in the business world, it's so easy to get caught up in what's in it for me, right? And how am I going to benefit from this relationship or from this conversation? And I just really want to, and even though I have the right motives to build something that's important, I really want to be sure that I have the right heart. So being able to give something to somebody, or I sent an email to somebody for no other reason, just to say, I'm thinking of you in Maui, praying for you. And that's it. And I asked for nothing. And it felt really good, actually, because there's nothing in it for me. And even though I would love for there to be something, I don't expect it or need or want it. So yeah, I think I just want to be able to do that in a way that is valuable and meaningful, like so that I am truly bringing value and doing something kind without having a hidden motive. I want to make sure that I keep my heart pure in that. So that's really important to me, that I follow that. And then the rest will happen on its own, like just to be making sure I'm in a good space with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that you want to practice reciprocity more often in terms of being intentional, of being a giver towards other people first. And then in the meantime, continue to keep your heart, checking your heart on that, right?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. That's a great implementation. All right. Okay, guys, we are going to do a real quick recap of the activator of the activator of the principle of liking. I told you guys we were going to save the element of cooperation for today, and this is going to be our last one. We got lots of practice for this coming up right now tonight, and this is about, you know, the principle of liking. Activator is finding shared interests and mutual goals to promote that cooperation. The activator is cooperation, but you have to be intentional about the precursor, which is finding shared interests and mutual goals. Now, research is showing us, we talked about this last week, that people are typically very poor at identifying the shared interest and mutual goals that will specifically create and produce cooperation. So we looked at how average negotiations per se, and that's just a blanketed word for if you're going to be asking your boss for a raise, if you're going to be negotiating with your team members to take on a little more of the workload, or, you know, you're looking for whatever, if it is a sales situation where you're providing a service or a product that you're negotiating with, whatever it is, right? So that's just a blanketed statement. But average negotiators spent only 10% of their time being intentional about looking for shared interests and mutual goals before engaging in some sort of negotiation or exchange. Now, successful negotiators spent 4 times that. 40% of their time was being very intentional about looking for those common interests or similar interests and mutual goals. Okay, so I think we could all agree that we're going to want to be intentionally practicing paying attention to shared interests and mutual goals. I mean, even overall, that is definitely a liking approach where you are adding value to them, just looking for the common interests and goals that you might have. Sean had a suggestion on, not a suggestion, but a comment on Saturday, you know, about when we said, reciprocity was thank you for doing this, thank you for doing that. And we reversed it and we said, you're saying, you know, we appreciate how you have this vision and your mission statement is this way. And then we also feel the same way. And that's what this is talking about, right? That common interest, that common goal to approach the end result that both companies or both individuals both have in their hearts. Now, the principle of liking can be used to create cooperation in so many different types of settings. And here's how we're going to practice this. We're going right into practice. So that was our recap. Super easy. We're going to go into practice. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a group discussion on situations. I have plural, but if we only get past one, we're going to move on, right? Where we're going to brainstorm together as a team on ways to utilize techniques or ideas to foster or create shared interests or goals for the outcome of cooperation. So I'm going to share a scenario right here. And this we're going to discuss this. Okay. So, can we see that? Yeah. Okay. So you're a project manager, you are, right? And you're handling team conflicts. You've recently taken charge of a team that's been working on a major client project. The project can make or break your quarterly goals. The team are highly talented individuals, but have diverse backgrounds and are from different departments. Now, some are long-term employees who have seen the company grow, so they were there through all the different things that come with growth. And some are new to the company, and they've been brought in because of their skill sets that the company needs at this stage of their growth. To quickly summarize, there are conflicts about project direction, methods, priorities. High emotions show up in some of the meetings, and it's clear that there are both professional and personal divides within the team. So you're concerned about meeting the project's mile markers and delivering quality work. The disjointedness of the team is affecting productivity, and it's affecting morale. Your challenge is your challenge, if you choose to accept it, is to mend and foster a sense of unity and cooperation in a short time span. Sorry. So what I'm going to have you do is take less than a minute and just start thinking about it. And we're going to start talking as a group, because as you guys discovered on Saturday, when people start discussing it, it starts to generate some additional ideas for you, right? So you are the project manager, and you've got to get this team cohesive. So what are some ways that you can be implementing or using shared interest and goals, or fostering shared interest and goals to create cooperation within your team? Who wants to jump in first? What are some ways you can do that? Let me give you an example if that's going to help. Would that help if I gave you an example? Okay, so let's talk about, I'm going to do a real simple one. So that means you guys can't copy it. It's going to be super simple. So what you can do is your next team meeting, you want to make a point of clearly outlining the shared goal of a project, right? What's the shared goal of a project that we're all working towards? But not only that, you could talk about the shared goal that you would have on the end result. So let's just say, you're a company that's like a vendor of another company, and so their customers are going to be the end user. Well, what's the shared goal to serve that customer at the end? How do we want to impact them in a positive way? That's a shared goal. What about being able to make the client happy and meet our deadlines on our finances so that everybody gets paid and we have a healthy, robust, pay scale and that sort of thing? I mean, those are all extenuating shared goals that we can forward pace into should we have our cooperation. So that would be one example of how to foster cooperation and goals. Okay, anybody have some ideas in addition to that?
I would say that, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I'm going to
Tom,
let Tom go first. Yep. And then go ahead, Signy.
All right. So I remember joining this company, what is 30 years ago now, that I worked for at the time. And right off the bat, there was all this conflict that I realized. I was in the marketing department. There was conflict with sales management and customer facing people. And so the boss at the time said, everyone, we're going to meet on Saturday at this house in Waimanalo. And at the house in Waimanalo, he, had all this food and everything was there. And he said, today, we're not going to even talk about the project. Today, we're just going to spend some time together and learn from this person that he had hired that taught about team building exercises. And it wasn't specifically about the project. It was more about people's natural tendencies when it comes to trying to get their way and whatever and all those things. And you realize that, as we began to do it, we dropped a lot of the guards and we started socializing better. And then when we went back to talk about the similar to what you described in this scenario, it was a lot healthier. And people had come, had taken time to spend time together outside of work, for one, but then two, learning some valuable lessons, just like we've learned in these last number of weeks, to and how we communicate with each other.
Mhm.
And so that's what I would lean
Yep.
towards. It's starting with something outside of work, and then
Yeah. Yeah, that's really great. How about you, Signe? You were going to say something? And or any
Well,
wait, hang on. Sorry, Signe. Anybody want to add to what Tom was saying? Maybe that's something you've experienced. Maybe there's a little bit of a addition you want to make to it that made it special for you when you experienced it, or your thoughts on that. Sorry, Signe, I didn't mean to cut you
no,
off.
it's okay.
Anybody want to add to that at all?
I can
Yeah,
add-
Debbie.
Yes.
Yes.
So actually, Tom, I've experienced that too in the workplace, where you need the context of the discussions and getting to know people has to have a different energy about it, and I've gone on trips, business trips with people that I couldn't stand and came back loving them, right? When you're forced to do something toward a common goal, then you have to be really creative about it and you have to put your egos at the door. And so I think just getting, some agreement among the group that there's specific things that are goals and that we can agree to. And then we know that we're going to disagree on some other things. But as long as we're focused all on the same thing and we acknowledge that, then to me, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Anybody else? Anybody else
Oh.
want to add to that? Yep.
Oh.
Are you adding or are you
No,
gonna?
no,
Okay.
sorry.
I just want to, yeah, it's okay. I just want to make sure if anybody wants to add to that, I caught you. Okay.
I kind of echo that one too, Debbie, because I had a project and we had to get a bunch of contractors and they just different personalities, and then they had to finish a project, on a specific deadline. So I got them all together and they were all in agreement that we had to meet a deadline. So we just had to develop some kind of timeline for each group of people, and just lay it out. But the common goal was to meet a deadline.
Good. Okay, Signe, what was your thought on terms
Well,
of implementing it?
Okay, so I mentioned this before. I'm a mediator, and one of the first things in mediation, we don't get to know the people like we would in a conversation like this, that you're presenting. The common goal, if it's a divorce, are the children. So we always make that the focus, and everybody agrees the children is the most important thing. And so in this project, everyone agrees that we want to satisfy the customer. So there's no disagreement about that. So once we get that, then I ask, okay, so what do you think we can do to get to the goal there? The opposing people and on their disagreements, just listen to everybody's disagreement, basically. And then slowly keep honing in on the fact that we want to help this customer and make that the carrot in the middle of the room, and then make sure everybody understands that's our focus. And so it's kind of like what Tom said and Debbie said, you kind of know what the goal is, and then everybody kind of works together towards that same agreement.
Yeah. Anybody want to add to that? Anybody want to give another idea that you have in terms of how to be able to use this shared interest and mutual goals?
What I like is how the children and the teacher use the children to cooperate on a project, which required them all to pitch in, and they see each other's strengths, and everybody gets to appreciate each other. So I don't know, I just thought something along that line, maybe make pizzas or something and then eat it afterwards or something like that.
Yeah, and an activity that they all enjoy. Yeah, that's like Debbie talking about being on a trip with someone. Okay, good. A couple of others. Anybody else have an idea of how to do that? How to implement that? Okay, so just a couple of quick things to think about is you can also, in the same vein, Signe, as you described, where if you're doing a negotiation and it's a divorce negotiation and the common goal is to make sure that we focus on the kids, you could also do the opposite, which is who's the common enemy? The goal is keeping the enemy out, right? That kind of thing. Like who's the common enemy technique? So the common enemy could be, like the technology competitor, or the enemy of what's going on in that relationship. So that helps also on both sides of that coin, if you will. Another thing that really helps is when you let people in on some of that decision making that you have to make, right? Then they feel like they're a part of it and they're part of the common goal as they discuss a decision that you have to make to move things forward. Yes, Sean. Sorry, I didn't see your hand.
No, so it's funny you mentioned a common enemy thing, because in my 2 roles at Matson when I first started, was union versus management. And I was in a department that I was, out of 34 people, I was the only management non-union person, right? And so I really had to establish a track record of why we show up to work every day. Everybody has their own ideas. Everybody has their own grumblings. Everybody has their own suggestions. Everybody has their own law degrees and business degrees in their minds, right? And so I had to go back to, it's not me against you. It's us together trying to serve a client. And that took a little while, right? That took some trust. But in the recent role, I actually took our company mission statement, right? Because everybody was just us against, labor is always against management. You guys are trying to steal from us. You guys are, raping us and taking our, these guys make good money, but it's not, everybody's not about money, right? Everybody has a different goal. And so what I took the mission statement and I just broke it down based on the values. And I said 2 things. Your goal every day is to come to work and go home safe. That's the first goal. So that's safety. Number 2, your goal is to get a paycheck and do your job and support your family. And if we can agree that those are your 2 goals, and it embraces that by pushing the mission statement that we move freight better than anybody else, then can we all agree that we're on the same team? And that took some time, right? And I think in all of our situations, you're not going to get 100% support. But if you get that 51% of people that can move the bus in the right direction, then that's all I needed. I just needed 3 or 4 guys to get the other 27 guys to go in the same direction, or the influencers who, like, the guys people respected, right? Like, hey, listen to Sean, he's not being a jerk, let's just get the job done, right? So it's influencing the guys that are the influencers to get it done. And it's painting a vision of, yeah, you're here for yourself, but the company's here for you. So let's do this together versus trying to do it apart. And, part of my struggle now is it's even the company tries to position itself against labor. And I don't like that, right? I mean, let's just do it together. Because outside of the workforce, if I see you at a football game or at a restaurant or a store, I'm not going to pit you against me. We do this together to come to work and leave work safely. Because if you don't go home safely, then that's either you made a bad choice or we made a bad mistake. And I don't want to have to go to your family that something happened on the docks and you got whacked with a crane and you're dead now because you weren't paying attention or whatever it was, right? So, just being able to paint the vision of what they're trying to achieve, but encompass it into the goal of the company. And doing that wasn't easy, but it's something that it takes some time to get that credibility and traction in there. So.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And just to bring clarity to the context in which I meant the common enemy, it's not exactly in the way that you're describing, although you make some really great points. I want to make it clear that what's the outcome if we don't accomplish this? That's the enemy, right? What's the outcome, or, something like that. So just want to make sure that context is clear. But both are super important. In fact, you can work them in tandem because they both become common goals. Does that make sense? A mutual goal. Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. So listen, we are going to move into breakout rooms. I am going to open it shortly, but I want you to hold on for just a second. I'm going to put you in rooms of 3 or 4. Robert and Stephen, are you able to turn on your video? Because this will be a group discussion of 3 or 4. Hi, Robert. Oh, you didn't want to show us your eating? I don't know if Stephen, you can get on. Okay, I'll see if you can be in a room of 4. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is you're going to have 10 minutes to come up with creative ways to apply the principle of liking to the scenario that you're going to have by looking for shared interests or goals to help to create cooperation. Same thing, okay? You want to write your ideas down. You're going to have a spokesperson when you come back. I want you to be as creative on your application as possible, right? When you come up with your first pass, look at how you can tweak it to make it even better. You have 10 minutes, right? And then I want you to come back. When you come back into the main room, you're each going to have 3 minutes to describe what your results were. And I'm going to put this in the chat right now. I can only do a little bit at a time. So that's if you're in room 1 or room 2. Hang on, you're going to find out in just a second where you are, but I have to. Okay, I'm going to put room 4, but that's only if somebody else comes in after the fact and they have to go into a room. So you're going to have only 1 to 3. Here, don't go to your rooms yet. Okay, do you see that? Do you see your room? It'll tell you either room 1, room 2, or room 3. Okay, do you see that?
I see the descriptions, but I don't.
Oh, I had one more button to push. Sorry. One more button. All right. The enemy of technology. We all have to bind together. So, okay. Don't go to your room yet. Somebody just went to their room. Okay. Don't go to your room yet. Stop. Well, they're not going to get the instructions. Okay. So what I want you to do is you're looking at the chat. I want you to take a picture of the chat. Okay. And you're going to use the scenario significant. Marsha, you're going to have to get your team on speed because the 2 of them just went to the room. So your scenario is room 3, Marsha. Okay. So it's respective to your room number. Okay. Now you can go to your room. Make sure you have a picture of that if you don't see it in the chat when you're on the other side.
Yeah.
Where's the rest of your group?
No, I don't know. But where's
Okay,
everybody?
guys.
Oh,
Where is everybody? Okay, each person has a representative who's going to share what you guys came up with. You have no more than 3 minutes. If you're done under 3 minutes, fine, but you cannot exceed 3 minutes. I'll give you the yank. And here's the thing. When we're done, every single one of you is going to vote in the Zoom poll on who had the most creative idea of another room. You just cannot vote for your own team. Okay, so you get to vote for somebody else's team that you thought was the most creative application. All right, so group 1, who is your representative?
That would be me.
Okay.
I guess, are you gonna prompt this, or is it gonna cut into my 3 minutes of what the
Yeah, I'll tell
scenario
you when
is?
your 3 minutes are up if you're past that.
Oh no, I mean, is the I guess what is it? The description of what we're trying to go after. Like, are you gonna prompt it to everybody, or you want me to
Oh
read
no,
it?
you can go ahead and repeat what it is because that'll help. Yeah, you go ahead and repeat what your
Sure.
prompt.
So our prompt was, you're in HR creating an onboarding program that not only introduces new hires to the company's culture, mission, and daily operations, but also fosters an environment of cooperation from day one. You're aware that new hires will be working in cross-functional teams and will need to collaborate with various departments. So our solution to this is to create families that represent, I guess 1 or 2 or 3 like individuals from each department. So kind of melding them all together. You got some veterans, you got some rookies, and then this was meant to bring the new hires into a safer environment. May or may not be people that they're working with on a project by project basis, but it gets them a different flavor of I guess the organization, gets them infused into the culture because that's part of who and what they do, and reinforces the mission because the I guess from a project level, they're doing the work that the company set out to do, but also it's building that collaboration and the building rapport with one another. Additionally, it's, I guess, activities that we would include within that would be doing like getting to know you bingo, or doing things that will engage individuals to get to know the new ones as well as the older people within the company.
Okay. All right. And so that's going to foster which one? Shared interest or mutual goals?
Both. Well, yeah. Well, I think based on the activities that the group can, I guess, facilitate, you can probably do both.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. Anybody in group one want to add to it because you still have some time, or he was pretty thorough? Oh, you actually don't have too much time. So I'm gonna, sorry about that. I'm an Indian giver, taking it back. Okay. Group number 2, who's your spokesperson? Did you designate a spokesperson?
John, go ahead.
Oh, we just designated right now. Marsha, you've just been designated.
Oh, no. Marsha's in 3.
Sean.
Oh,
Is he there?
Sean. Sean's been, Sean, are you the designated spokesperson for group 2?
I think he left with his friend. Carol, I don't know the name of the movie, and I'm not too familiar with that. You want to just and
Okay.
I'll help out too.
You
Okay,
jump
what's
in.
your state
Just
your
tell me-
scenario first, and then
Oh.
just share what you came
I
up
can
with.
do the scenario. I can read.
Oh yeah, put this there and then help me, Laura. And
Okay, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So you're the coach of a local sports team made up of players with varying degrees of skill and experience. Some have been playing for years, while others are relatively new. Some have learned different styles from different coaches. Your challenge is to create an inclusive environment that fosters cooperation, where everyone feels a sense of camaraderie and mutual respect. Okay, so Sean had a great, oh yeah, Sean, go ahead, Sean. You had a great idea.
So it would be that you give me down, right, Leila, that we're in the group 2, right? So as I was sharing with Carol and Laura, the first thing I thought about was remembering the Titans. Remember that movie with Denzel Washington, right? And there's an old school way of coaching these days and a new school way of coaching. But the one consistent thing about coaching teams is you need to break down, if this is a new team, new players, different varying levels, whether it's 35-year-old men making $1 million or the 5-year-old kid playing t-ball trying to get to the world Little League, you got to break them down physically and mentally to whatever they learned and whatever they attained and whatever knowledge they got. That now the different vision is this team, this one team going. Ilani School does that, right? One team, whatever you learned, whatever you did before, great, but that's not the way we're going to do it now. And the one way you break down people or kids is you make them run till they throw up. You just make them run until they agree to do the same thing over and over again the right way. And that builds, that might not be in the modern day, right? You can't slap kids or throw balls at kids when I was growing up, but you still make them physically run, where eventually the leaders or the influencers are going to get the guys that are falling behind or resistant to change to come along. So it's like almost like peer pressure from your friends. Hey, come
Okay,
on, we
but
gotta do
where
this
is the
together.
common interest or the mutual goal?
Oh, the common interest of any sports team is to make a team. Whether you win or lose, is making the team do the one way. It's like even in paddling, right? 6 people. If you're not going to paddle the same way, we're going to keep paddling until you paddle the same exact way, right? As an adult, I had to learn that you get 6 people in a boat, and if one guy's paddling short, one guy's paddling long, you're going to keep paddling and draw until your coach tells you, you guys all paddle the same way until I tell you to stop paddling. So the cohesive goal is making it the one way. Like this is the one way we're going to do things,
Okay, good. And Carol or Laura, do you want to add anything? You have a few seconds at all.
Oh, I mentioned about like picking pineapples, like the football team, they would send them off to Lanai, pick pineapples, so then they would come back as friends,
The common, yeah. Okay, good.
Common goal.
Common activity that binds them together. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, Carol, you had something real quick to say?
Oh, just comment. I think the common goal is once they come back, having done the shared activity of serving and working together, then it really builds that camaraderie, that working together, that the common goal is bringing the team together. So they're all thinking like one unit.
Good. Okay. Okay, good. Good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So team 3, what did you come up with shared interests or mutual goals to create cooperation? Who's your spokesperson?
Robert.
Me, but I don't have the scenario.
Okay,
Signy.
then we're going to make it Signy because we got to move on.
Okay. Let's see here. Let me find the common thing. Okay, we own a small business with 15 employees, and we're rolling out a new software platform to streamline work. This change is stirring various emotions in our team, and some are excited and some are resistant. Because of the steep learning curve and slowing of work production, our challenge is to align everyone and encourage them to work together for a seamless transition.
Okay, so of those 15 people, we just made sure that the manager was on top of this, and that manager would identify the individual strengths of those 15 people, and the strongest ones would be taking the lead to get this program going. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, so those that were slower or not adapting as well, they would be more the support under the fast-paced people. The way to get them together is to have a barbecue and beer. So
before,
of course,
right?
but I had to tell you the plan first.
Yeah, okay.
No fighting, kids, no fighting. Okay, all right. So what common interest or mutual goal are you accomplishing?
Increase production. So
Okay.
and having everybody on board.
Okay, good. All right, good. All right, I'm gonna open up the poll, and I'm hoping I'm doing this right. Can you guys see that? Oh no. Oh, launch. Okay, there, launch. Okay, do you see it now? Who do you vote for that's not on your team? Which group?
Not on your team. I remembered it now. Just about to put my team, but okay.
Not on your team.
I don't see it. I'm sorry.
You don't see it. Can you go to your tab that says polls at the bottom? See if you could pop it up. You're on there because it says how many people are on the Zoom. Okay, well, you can just verbally tell me. Who else cannot see it?
2. Nah, just joking.
Yeah, you're number 2. Who else cannot see the poll? Anybody else having a problem seeing the poll? Okay, Mary Lou's having a problem seeing the poll. Because we're still missing 4 people from their vote. Who did not vote? What are you pointing your finger? Oh, you're voting number 1. Okay. How many are you? What number are you voting for? This isn't working out too. Okay. And what number are you voting for, Mary Lou? 2. Okay, so 2, 4. Okay,
No, I
so
vote 3. I'm 3. I'm sorry. I cannot see, but then I'm voting for 3. Okay.
I don't know why this poll isn't working. I guess I shouldn't have just tried it for the first time on this. All right. Okay. So the winner is group number 3, the small business. Because I think Stephen voted for you because he liked the beer thing. That's what I think.
I just
Here's
voted
the
for him
result.
because I couldn't vote
So
for mine.
there's 2 more. There's 2 more votes for number 3 and 2 more votes for number 1. So it's going to be a 5 total for group number 3. So group number 3. Yeah, you guys won that one. Okay. All right. We're going to go real quick into a small big. You guys ready for a small big in the principle of liking? Okay.
Ready.
All right, good. Okay. Listen, the easiest and smallest way to implement the principle of liking in a small big is, this is going to sound so small. I mean, easy. It's a smile. I'm going to go into this a little deeper. It's a smile. The research reveals that people feel closer to us and they feel a connection with us if they receive a simple smile first. So for those of you who are task-oriented people, my C's and my D's, you have to pay attention because you don't realize that your face looks very task-oriented. And I know that because I had to really work on that. A researcher interviewed several people about their experiences entering different kinds of offices, professional offices, doctors, dentists, chiropractors, financial investment firms. And in each situation, there was somebody at a desk, and that person would then lead them into an office of the person they're trying to visit. And the researcher asked them, what is the thing you most wanted from the person at that desk? And it wasn't the evidence of competency or experience or intelligence or attention. It was a smile, a warm greeting. Now, people wanted a smile first. So they got the feeling, so they would get the feeling of a positive human connection with you. Here's the thing. Simple, like everything else we're learning in Cialdini, it's simple, but the application is the thing. Most people haven't any realization that they are not smiling, because you might be feeling like you're smiling on the inside, therefore it's projecting on the outside. And that is absolutely not the case. And I can tell you from the many times I have spoken in front of many types of people, many numbers of people. In fact, some who think they are smile. I said that already. Now, I think we know one thing we should always do, and that the research supports, is to smile. I mean, I think we know that, but to smile honestly at the people that you're interacting with, right? So it's not just a facial memory exercise. I want to just make that clear because we're here about ethics, right? But it is a reflection of how you truly feel inside. Because oftentimes we don't feel like a grump, but we're not aware that our face looks like a grump. Okay, so a smile with teeth and everything is super important. And what's even more surprising, guys, is that the research shows the power of the smile not only is always not always needing to be a physical smile to produce the effect. That's interesting. It doesn't have to be a physical smile. All you need is the shape of a smile, a line with upturned edges. I'm just telling you what the research is. Okay. So now you're going to see this everywhere, right? Here's some evidence of a study, a consumer research study where people were asked to rate the likelihood. Let me just turn on people were asked to rate the likelihood, that they would choose a particular shampoo when it was presented in one of the 4 bottles. Here you go. Okay. If you look at these bottles, you can see that they are exactly alike, right? The size only reflects the response, right? And they except for the very line at the bottom right here. Okay. The one on the left has an upturned smile kind of shape. And there's a neutral line, and then there's no line at all. And they even tested a line that goes down like a frown. And then the researchers asked the individuals which of the bottles would they most likely like to purchase in the store. And the one that had the upturned curve in the smile, in the line, was significantly more likely to be selected than any others. And notice that the one that was the least likely, it wasn't the one without a line, it was the one with the frown. That was the one that was least likely to be picked. And this proves that people are sensitive to even the shapes of the smile in this instance. And here's the thing. They don't even realize that they're making this choice. Because when the researchers asked them, well, what made you choose this one? The answer was, I don't know. It was a subconscious response to friendliness, okay? So I literally have told this before, and this is absolutely true. I would practice in the mirror what my muscle would feel like to make a smile, because my mouth naturally turns down. See that? Can you all see that? So I would look at pictures of myself and I would go, man, I look angry, and I'm so not angry. And so I wanted to make sure that what I had on the inside was reflecting on the outside, right? So if you look at any logos of successful companies, take a look at these, like Amazon, right? That's a popular one. It's not on here, but let me move this so you can see, okay? So Amazon, you all know it has a smile on it, right? Successful companies, small and big. Look at Goodwill, right? Take a look at these company brands and you'll see the smile on their logo. So what's the implication for us? I'm proposing that we understand that paying attention to what our face looks like is essential to starting off with a good connection or liking. And they're not even going to go, wow, Signy, she's always smiling. I mean, Signy is always smiling, but they're not going to sit there and consciously say that. They're just going to gravitate to you. And just like the shampoo, they don't know why, right? So that is a really great takeaway from this small, big. Smile. Be intentional with it. Let your face indicate what's on the inside. Now, this is why we're going to do, guess what? A quick practice. By the way, I am redoing all of my logos for those Sean on my board because I'm going to put a smile on there. I've already talked to the designer, right? Because that's the epitome of who we are. When our kids walk in, I have a big smile on my face. My team has a big smile on their face. We're so happy you're here. And we smile so that, and the kids light up. The kids light up. Okay. So what we're going to do, guys, there we go. I'm going to put this in the chat. Okay. We're going to do a real quick check-in, right? Let me redo this, recreate these rooms. Just give me a second. Okay. I'm going to recreate these rooms. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little exercise. Okay. The way this is going to go is person number one. I got to go move fast because we're going to have to get going. You're going to give a 30-second talk about yourself the way you would in a networking event, right? Include your name, what you do, and something unique about yourself. 30 seconds. That's all you have. So you guys need to time each other. So get your timer out, 30 seconds. That's all you have. And then you're just going to do it the way you normally would. And you just want to give them information in 30 seconds of things that you want to know about you. The second person, I want you not to say anything. You're just going to rate them from 0 to 1 or 1 to 10, excuse me, 1 to 10, 10 being the highest based on their likability and their persuasiveness, right? Don't share that number. Then person number one, you're going to do it again, round 2. Now you're going to say it with a smile. You're going to try to connect with them. You're going to say the exact same thing. You're only going to get 30 seconds. And then person number 2 gets to rate you again, right? Do not share the numbers. You're going to switch places, do it all over again. And at the end, you have 1 minute total to share your results and why. Okay, I'm going to open the room right now. Take a picture if you didn't take a picture because you guys got to go to your room quick. We're running out of time tonight. Okay. Mary Lou, do you know where your room is? Oh, you just went. Remember to time yourselves, 30 seconds. Okay, person number 2 should be switching over. You should be switching roles. All right, the second person should have finished, and I'm going to give you actually 2 minutes to give each other your numbers and give excellent feedback. Welcome back, Signy. You're muted.
I didn't have a partner.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay, stay on. We're going to practice together. I forgot to tell you to stay here. I need an assistant to do these things, right? Okay, Signy, stay with me after and I'm going to practice it with you, okay?
Oh, I gotta go to another meeting.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm
I
so
know,
sorry.
it's okay. I
You
tried
should
to
have come
chat.
back. Oh,
No, I
okay.
couldn't leave, right? Could I
Yeah,
have
you
left?
Yeah, you could have left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I put in the chat, Layla, I don't have
Oh
a
yeah,
partner.
no, whatever you put in the chat only goes to the people in the room, which was nobody. Okay, bless her heart. I know I forgot to tell her don't go to her room. Okay. Thank you so much for your patience,
No
Signy.
problem. Don't worry. I'm good.
Poll popping up. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, guys,
Lino,
what did you yes.
the poll keeps popping up. How come?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. But then, you know,
The poll just popped up and it said I didn't answer. Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna reduce it. Maybe that'll stop it from popping up. Okay. What did you learn? Except for Signy, what did you learn? I'm gonna ask Signy, I'm calling you up. We're gonna do it together on Zoom. Okay, what did you guys learn?
I had Mary Lou, so I mean I like the second part when she smiled. Her smile it infected me to smile too as well. So yeah, so I really had a nice time listening to what she enjoys doing.
Good, good. It made you lean into what she was saying. Okay, good. Who else? What else did you learn? Who else learned something? Or similar you want to chime in?
I say that Nam, she's already smiling anyway. She's the one that can sell milk to the cow.
Wait, did she not smile the first round? Otherwise, she didn't do it
I think
right.
she tried to, but it was still smiling.
Okay, well then Signy and Nam needs to practice. So Nam has to practice not smiling. Okay. All right, Stephen, I saw you unmute. And then Tom, I'm going to go to Tom after.
Yeah, I know that you're talking about the signs and people actually physically smiling. So there's the figurative and the actual. But I think, you know, in talking with Tom, there's that smile internally. Like you can feel it. It's more an emotional connection. Like he may not necessarily be smiling on the second one, or I mean he was, but you can feel it. So I don't know how to put words to that, but that's
Yeah,
what
no,
felt.
I will tell you one of my regular affirmations is the frequency at which I operate at, and it's contagious, right? It's the energy that you give off in your internal, system, right? So good. All right, Tom, did you unmute on purpose or accident?
Oh, on purpose.
Okay, great. Why don't you share yours?
Yeah, there's a noticeable difference. I think even smiling helps you your brain go to things that are generally just more positive.
Yeah.
I remember somebody one time after I'd shared in a group setting about what I did, and they took me aside. We saw each other a couple days later, and they said, "Do you have fun with what you do?" And I said, "Well, yeah. Well, you didn't show it, and I realized that sometimes, when I'm sharing, some of it's heavy, some of it's sobering, but there is I can bring out though this sense of hope and sense of peace of mind and light at the end of the tunnel. So it's like even in the sobering things that there's a different way to present it, so people don't feel like, oh, he's just doom and gloom guy,
Yes,
right?
right.
So
Absolutely. That's absolutely true. That was really great feedback for you. Okay, we're gonna we always do a survey. I just put it in the chat. So if you can click on that survey and then fill it out, it should take about 5 minutes. And then we're gonna close up our evening for tonight. We're gonna wrap up our 5 weeks. So just take a quick 5 minutes to kind of go through that survey. The more information you give to what it is you liked is great feedback for continuing to do that, as well as what it is you'd like to see more of. Because as you guys know who have journeyed with me, I really do listen to your feedback because you are a very important part of this process. And the last one is a link that Cialdini has us use so that they can keep tabs on how we're doing in terms of representing their company. When you're done, if you can use the reactions and raise your hand, it just means you're done, and we'll wait for that to everybody's done with that. Thanks, Robert. I saw the thumbs up. How do you do that? It's like moving.
It must be an upgrade. I don't know.
Yeah. So there's a raise hand button at the bottom of your reactions. So if you want to do that, so I can make sure everybody's, the thumbs up disappears, guys. So if you could do the raise hands, so I make sure I know that. Thank you. Thank you. I think, Stephen, you're done, right? You rose your hand. You can leave it up. If you leave your hand up, then that helps me on my screen. Tom, I think same with you. If you could put your hands up. I think you're done, right, Tom?
Oh my God.
What happened?
I don't want to put a picture.
Oh, don't worry about it. You don't have to put a picture. It's fine. I'm away. Wouldn't that be horrible if you're speaking and somebody puts up the speed up icon, the reaction, speed it up?
Yes.
That's very good feedback, by the way. Yes. Okay. We got a few more minutes. Like not really a few more, just like one. Okay. So thank you. You can put your hands down. They were just waiting for a few more people to finish. So what I want you to do is I want you to continue finishing that up. And you're welcome to stay on a little bit longer afterward. But that Cialdini review is very important in terms of my certification requirements. I'm already certified, but compliance, I should say. Right? Okay. So thank you so much for your participation in that. Thanks, Nam. Okay. Okay, guys, listen, this is what the time for those of you who are new to the mastermind. This is a time where we bring closure. So you can say anything you want to the group about your journey, whatever it is, right? Just to help like bring some closure here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with just saying that I'm so very, very proud of you because man, this was a little wonky in the beginning. Everybody was all over the emotional map. And so I'm so excited about that. Actually, I love that kind of stuff because that tells me people are working it out. If everything's smooth sailing, there's not much having to be worked out, right? Nothing really, growth doesn't really happen from easy. Growth happens from the challenges and also making it through those challenges and developing the awareness. So I'm super proud of you all. Thank you so much for hanging in there, and don't stop using them because especially these two principles, it's all about adding value to people and getting a reciprocal relationship, right? In any dynamic, any context. Okay. So because I just went first, I'm going to pick the next person. So I'm going to pick Robert. Robert, and when you're done, you're going to pick the next person.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it was good to have a person to keep you accountable. Actually, Tom made sure we did that the first night. And then to just kind of put things into practice. So thank you.
Good.
All right, Nam.
Actually, this class was very helpful. I love the new word, like words being intentional. Everybody knows these words, but I don't think any of us knew how to use them and when to use them. And we always use like different words to say the same thing. But when you use these certain words with intentionality, like but, it has more impact. So it will definitely change how I communicate with people.
Great. Who are you going to pick?
Signy.
Thank you, Nam. I really learned a lot about the principles that we're using, the reciprocity especially. That was very, very good for me. I really feel like I can use it in a lot of ways. And, and the smiling, because I know how it is. When you're so intense and focused, you kind of forget, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Who are you going to
Yeah.
pick, Signy?
Okay, Tom.
Thank you. I would say that I find myself thinking about everything that we've learned every day in some way. My wife is good at reminding me, even though she didn't even take the course. She's already incorporated some of it as well, and I think it gives me better strategy. I think, if that's a good word to use,
Yeah.
and how I approach conversations and how I even text somebody. I've changed the way that I do it, and I think it's become more effective. So with that, I will pick Carol.
Thanks, Tom. I think I need to practice more of the small bigs. And I've been using my son as a guinea pig, and I think I said it 5 times yesterday, but you're free to choose. And it was really like empowering for him, as a young adult, to see that this is what you could do. These are the different options, but you're free to choose. And so I want to practice those a lot more, because I think they are very powerful, and they give the other person some power as well. So I'll pass it to Mary Lou.
Thanks, Carol. Yeah, I used it, but you're free to choose. It's up to you. And then I also like to practice other things that I really never used before, like the negative and positive. So I think that's something that I'd like to learn to just pull out of my my hat and use it more. So I'm definitely gonna do some practicing on my own with this stuff. Thanks. Hey, Sean.
Thanks, Mary Lou. No, and thank you for all of you and all your guys' different inputs and viewpoints. I think I really appreciated was getting to meet and talk to some of you that I've never talked to or have partnered with. I really like the fact that even though we all have different backgrounds and thinkings, one of the things that we all can agree to is that we want to grow, right? And we can only grow as much as we put into it and put out from it and get feedback from everybody. So I really like that. I mean, not, I felt that it was a safe place that you could share, even though some people cheated on Saturday. That was fine. We still came out of it. Actually, I just cheated. You told me, and I had a very frank discussion about that, but
I know you were accusing your wife.
It wasn't accusing, it was a fact. You guys talked when Layla was talking, and you guys would,
all right, moving on. Let's not ruin the moment.
No, I really appreciate, once again, right, just the various thoughts, the way people, we all come from different backgrounds and lives, but once again, the common goal was to grow, and the way you grow is you practice and you get feedback, and don't take offense to it and move on, right? Because I think in other scenarios, other places, Layla, you do a great job of getting people on the same page. So I really appreciate you and how we continue to just grow. And so, yeah, just thank you to all for being a part of that.
Thank you. Who are you going to
I'm going to choose Laura.
Go team, we're the best. Oh geez, it's just a diverse group, and I've learned a lot, actually. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. But it's such a diverse group that I learned from. And one of the things that stood out was, well, for me, being uncomfortable and concessions. I've got to learn how to do concessions, because I've done it so many years of that. This is the only way to do it, and I'm going to really be a little bit more intentional of trying to give options, of to others, and to listen more intently. But it is kind of it's a hard thing for me to think of what option 2 would be, but I'll try the best I can. The other thing, the last exercise is great, smiling. So I got to learn how to do that, because a little bit more, because when I'm focused, I just kind of like, I just really kind of, I'm really focused. and I forget about what I look like, so I have to learn how to smile. But it's kind of hard to smile and then to deliver something that I really want to deliver, a message that's serious. So
It's not hard. It's just a new skill.
yeah,
To keep reminding you that it's not hard. It's just a new skill.
yeah. So I have to, yeah, it's a new skill. So yeah, I got to do my smiling exercises. And okay, let's see. Who else do I need? Debbie, I have you in the corner of my screen there. You're next.
You know, when I signed up for this class, I actually expected to be a passive learner, and I know I told Mom this. Just sit back.
Right.
But you know, I know Laura's Layla, so of course it wasn't going to be just passive learning. But I did learn a lot, and I learned a lot about myself. You know, I know you asked that when we started this tonight. Learning about the things that I can do to improve my communication, especially with my family and of course in my work. And I am using and applying it, and I see positive results so far already. But I do know that there are a lot of other things to practice and get better at it. And I am very grateful and appreciate this class and all of you and getting to know you. It's been fun. Thanks, Dawn. Thanks, Leila. I really appreciate you.
We're so glad you joined us for sure. Welcome aboard.
Okay, so who hasn't gone? I see Mary Lou. Have you gone?
No, she.
I've gone. I'm sorry, Marcia.
Marcia, shall I ask to unmute you because you can't find your button? There we go. Do you see the request? There we go.
Yes. So, as always, Layla has put together a very high quality group of people and a very high quality class that I missed a lot of, and I apologize to the group for that. And I especially apologize to Signe because I was a horrible partner.
Well, we don't have to confess it. Just it's okay.
I'm just saying, I'm sorry, but you know, it's a valuable information, Layla. And I'm on a chamber of 13 people. Tonight's lesson, the chamber, everybody's different. Everybody goes in a different direction. Nobody can agree on anything and whole 9 yards. So tonight's lesson is going to be invaluable for me to try to figure out how to pull these people together for a common goal. So
yeah, well, good. I'm glad.
It's great to meet all you guys.
Yeah. I don't think Stephen went. So we'll pick Stephen. And who else did not go? Everybody else went, just Stephen. Okay, Stephen, you're bringing us home.
Great. I really like this course. What I found probably the most I guess useful is more of the self-reflection as it relates to the principle of reciprocity. I think for me, I guess prior to this class, my mentality of being able to receive, it's because I guess my thought is just give and not necessarily wanting to receive, basically this diminishing my own value. That was something that I'm still working through, but now that I'm aware of it, it's a little bit easier for me to kind of lean into that. So one of the things that, or one of the phrases that I took away from was, normally when people say thank you, I always say my pleasure. But when they say, oh, like you don't have to, like when they're trying to I guess saying that I didn't have to do something or whatnot, the words you would do the same actually stuck with me or resonated with me. So I want to be able to take that further, because it actually I've used it twice and it actually stopped the people that I'm talking to, and they'd be like, one of them actually said, verbalized that, oh yeah, I would do the same. So I found that of value. Yeah, I mean, that was probably of all the principles that we covered, the principle of reciprocity was probably the most impactful for me.
Yeah, great. All right, you guys, good job. Like I said earlier, and thank you so much for hanging in there with us for 5 weeks. I'm going to see some of you in the next section. We're going to learn the 5 more principles, and it's going to be so much fun. I'm even thinking about us meeting live, like soon, like within the first couple of weeks, so that we could really interact well together. And then when we do the Zooms, there's so much livelier. So so I look forward to seeing some of you in the next one. Okay, but have a great evening, and we'll see you around next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.